Hey guys.
Hello. Hi,
Hey,
hi.
hey. How's everyone doing today? Welcome to another episode of the Adult Puzzle Podcast. And it's me, Lamide, along with Lolade. Say hi,
Yes, yes,
Lolade.
yes. Hi, hi everyone. I feel like last episode we were going through it, but
Oh,
this episode, I think I'm coming back to myself. It's been a
yeah,
good-ish week.
it has. What's happened? What's happened? Let us know. How you feeling?
Honestly, nothing spectacular. I will say this. I have caught up on sleep every single day this week. I haven't worked
Thank
out as
God.
much, but sleep, we've got that shit on check this week. So I'm good. Also, Summer Walker just like, is that how to pronounce her name? Walker?
Yo, I listened to half of the album.
Yo.
I, I know I'm supposed to rep for the patriarchy, but God, what did that nigga do? There were some lines. In fact, hold up. Can you just like give me 2 seconds? And
Mm-hmm.
there's some Summer Walker lines that I caught during the while I was listening, and
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, Lord have mercy. Who annoyed this chick so much? Let's see if I can find. Let's see if I can find any of the woman. But what do you think about the album overall?
I like it like so far. I think I'm on um maybe like screwing I'm close to the end. I haven't finished it. I did listen to Sierra's Prayer first
No, that's
because
the first thing I
everyone was
listened to on the
I
album.
know
Yeah,
everyone was talking about it. I was like, "Ooh, child, I'm writing some things down." But I think it's good so far. I really like it. I really do. I mean, Summer is she's my babe. I love her so much, but the album was good.
you know what? Let me even just read what she put as a description. I think she put it somewhere, and it says, "Take this opportunity to learn from my mistakes. You don't
Mhm.
have to guess if something is love. Love is shown through actions. Stop making excuses for people who don't show up for you. Don't ignore the red flags, and don't think you have to stay somewhere because you can't find better. You can and you will. Don't settle for less. You don't deserve it, and neither does your family." That was Summer Walker. She said, yeah, she said all that. And I kind of feel she's one of those people who are extremely gifted in expressing themselves in the music. Like the
Yeah.
detail. Oh, it's good.
Yeah.
It's a good album so far, Sha. I
It
haven't
is.
finished, but it
And
is.
it's crazy because like there are even things that she said that I had to catch myself. I was like, "Oh shoot, child, maybe you were a little toxic." But now we know. Now we know. Now we
No,
know.
I give it well, yes, now we know, but I must say that a lot of females, again, is it possible to be with someone toxic and not like pick off pick up some bad habits? Like, how close can you be to a fire and not get burnt or smell of smoke? Like, you understand what I'm saying? Like,
Are you saying is it possible to be in something toxic and not know you're in a toxic situation? Is that the question?
no, I mean, and not exhibit like toxic traits and not do
Oh, not
toxic
start to
shit.
pick up on that. Yeah, no,
Yeah.
I think like I get what you're saying. It's very hard to not pick up on some certain traits,
Hmm.
especially if like, and it's crazy because you pick up on what your partner gives you.
Exactly. Like, because sometimes you might even just be caught in the cycle of reaction mode, right?
Oh my gosh, yes, yes. And I found that happened to me. Yes, yes, I
And
agree.
you know, and if you're
Let me know what I tell you. I was in my
oh
feelings today.
yo, it is what it is. So if you're trying to match the energy in the room, I
Mm-hmm.
mean, everybody just ends up being toxic. And yes, there are levels to toxicity and
Yeah.
all that, but like, I'm just saying because to your earlier point, some things that she has done in the past, from what we've seen, I'm like, Summer, you need to simmer down, you know?
No, I was even talking about myself. I'm like listening to the album. I picked up
Mhm.
on things that I was like, "Oh shoot, child,
Oh, you're talking
maybe
about
I
you?
was being toxic." Yeah, like maybe I was a toxic person. But I do
Mm,
agree with you. I think it's hard to be in a toxic situation
mm,
and not like pick up on toxic traits. And we're generalizing here, but not even like it doesn't even have to be like extreme toxicity. It might just be like your partner does something that you don't like, it's not a good habit, but instead of you like saying something or walking away, you try and figure out like, okay, how do I cancel it out by doing that thing even more to
mm.
like irritate the person. Yeah, it definitely can be a cycle, the whole toxicity, whatever that is. But
She definitely is good. She definitely
she
is
is,
good with
she
the
is.
pen. And shout out to Sierra, man. I mean, I think Sierra finding Russell really helped a lot of helped a lot of young black women gain perspective to what you need or what you should want in a man.
Yeah,
Because
and
I've
never
always,
settling.
I never said it, and I've always hated the idea of certain females that feel like I want my nigga to be bad. I want my nigga to dance. And I'm like, is that really what you want? Like, I feel like sometimes a woman, even though I'm speaking from what I feel. You know,
Mhm.
even though they think that there is there is something exciting in danger and all that. I'm like, are you sure peace doesn't feel better? Are you sure comfort doesn't feel better? Like, there are just some questions where I'm like, I get the whole
uh,
excitement and adrenaline with danger, but are you sure there's no joy in peace? Are you sure they? But shout out to all the women who like that kind of lifestyle. But shout out or a bigger shout out to Sierra for showing that, yo, I'm good over here. Like, God loves us, beautiful family, a man that respects God. He goes to work, comes back home. You know, he's on that wavelength with her. They both understand the beauty in appreciation, affirmation. You know, man,
yeah. I will say
yeah.
this. I definitely agree with you. Peace is much better. I don't think I like bad boys, but lately I've
Hmm.
been
Hmm.
seeing like stop, stop, stop. Like, I Lemonade.
I've kept quiet. I've kept quiet. Lips sealed. Zip. Mm.
Lately, I've been seeing like why
Mhm.
people might want to give certain type of men like the time of day, or why there's something intriguing
There
about.
definitely is something there, which is why I
Yes.
say I know, I get it. I get the whole there's something there. Maybe I might not be able
Mhm.
to word it like perfectly,
Yeah.
but there is something there. In fact, for based solely on the fact that there are a lot of examples of people in that kind of situation, it
Yeah.
shows there's a pattern and it shows there's actually something exciting about danger or something exciting about
Say danger, like someone's gonna walk up
uh
to you with a gun against your head.
serious red flag. Serious red flag.
I now no. Nobody's gonna do that. But yeah, there's certain red flags that you're like, okay, sis.
That some
Yeah.
of them even like red flags. That's my problem. Like, I don't get it. They know you not see them on Twitter. If he doesn't do red flag, but you still give him your number. You still follow him to the club.
And
And
then 2 weeks later, niggas ain't
so,
shit.
do you understand what I mean? I'm like, you're cracking me up because I don't get it. And it's a continuous cycle. It's a continuous pattern. And I'm like, yo,
Today, we're not going to be
yeah,
talking about relationships, nothing like
no,
that.
nothing related.
But we are talking about hunting, which okay, that makes it sound very. animalistic. But our topic for today is job hunting.
Woo.
How to go about getting yourself a job, 9 to 5 to be specific.
Uh-huh.
So yeah, let's start it off. What was that process like for you for your first job, Lamide?
I mean, can I just say that the uncertainty of it all was what
Mm-hmm.
scared me the most? Like,
Yep.
just because in my own environment, Lagos, Nigeria, the competition is Lagos, Nigeria is the most populated country in Africa. And, you know, the competition alone, the rate of unemployment is through the roof, you know, and that whole anticipation, that whole uncertainty, do I apply? Do I not apply? Will I get it if I apply or will I not get it? You know, and all the other many factors, it
Mm-hmm.
stressed me out, like it threw me off. But the first time I applied for a job, hmm, and this is just application, whether I got it or not is not the question here. But the first
Different question.
it's a different question entirely. But the first time I applied, I mean, I, I wouldn't say I was fully confident in my resume. I would say I just like probably sat down on a computer one day. This is me. I don't think first time I applied, I had a full understanding of what a resume should look
Mm-hmm.
like, positioning, wording, and stuff like that to make yourself the top 1% of the 1% that gets chosen. I don't think I understood all that. I just knew that my name had to be there. I slapped my name on there. I
Mm-hmm.
slapped my address on there. I slapped my education, no matter how basic it was on there. I put my, yeah, what else did he have? I had my experience, okay, work experience, no matter how small that was. So you can imagine for my first job, what would my work experience be? So yeah, I just put everything in as I could in there and I sent it in. Like I just did, you know, and yeah, it was tedious, it was stressful, but I didn't put too much.
Thought into it.
Yeah, you know, I just did
I
it.
think
Yeah,
I think
I
I
just
think
did it.
so too for me. Like I definitely applied for a lot of jobs before I
Mm-hmm.
actually started to get some progress on callbacks. And I had to keep changing my resume
Mm,
based on feedback that I had gotten from like interviewers, and that's how my resume kept getting better. If not, I think I would have
mm-hmm.
still been jobless till now.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Wait, but I have a question for you though. You had mentioned that whether or not, and I think this applies to both of us, like whether or not we got the job or not, we were
Mm-hmm.
just applying.
Yeah.
So assumption is that's like a lot of people. So before you actually get a job, you're unemployed,
Mm-hmm.
whatever state that is.
Mm-hmm.
What would you say is, because when I was growing up, like I hadn't really deeped how unemployment is such a thing. And unemployment is not even a bad thing. It's just you don't have a job, right? And
Mm-hmm.
you're at the point in your life where you typically would want a job, but you don't have one for whatever reason.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think like causes that in Nigeria? And I can speak a lot to here as well, but what do you think causes unemployment overall?
Um, the first thing I would say is the ratio of availability to the competition. So
Mhm.
the first question is how many jobs are realistically available and how many people are applying? Because because over time we failed to get the basics right in Nigeria. So let's say the universities are churning out 5 million graduates every year. I'm not sure about this number,
Mhm.
but
Sounds about
let's
right.
sounds about right. 5 million, right?
Right.
The amount of available jobs may not be more than 700,000 that you would consider. I'm not talking about menial jobs now. I'm talking about like corporate and stuff that you would be proud to say, oh, hi, mom, I got a job or I'm working here and there. They might not be up to, yeah, 700,000 nationally, in my opinion. And that's one.
Mhm.
Two would be the skill sets. So what they are being taught might not be necessarily what is required. You understand what I mean? So you look through the job sites or whatever, and you see a job, you're excited, you click on it, you see the description, you're like, cool, and you now see the required skills. You now start seeing things like masters, MBA. You now start seeing like 10 years experience
Oh
in
my gosh, yes.
in something that you've never heard of before, must be able to do. And you just get discouraged. You're like, why bother even, applying
Mhm.
for something that half of it you've never heard before? You know what I mean? So that is two. Three would also be unemployment is it's a I want to say it's embedded in, I don't know how to word this perfectly. I would say it's embedded in our DNA from early, like
Mm.
Nigeria as a whole. Like there
Explain,
has
please.
been no, yes, I'll try my best. There has been no attempt, like genuine attempt to remove that or bridge that gap between unemployment and employment. The government will tell you they have been making attempts by providing so and so jobs. But every time you try and create a scheme or you quote unquote provide an opportunity for people to get those jobs, are you empowering people with the necessary um, skill sets to get there? Are you making the resources available for people to, you know, do for people that do apply to be able to get those like results in terms of like employment and offer letters?
Yeah.
Are you genuinely picking the right people for the job, or just throwing in your family members there because, yo, my younger brother just finished from whatever university, even though it's a third class, he's my younger brother, he needs to get in. So I think foundational wise, the system genuinely does not promote pro employment.
Yeah.
When you break everything down to the nitty gritty, the system favors unemployment than employment. If people want to be honest and look inwards, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, I just feel, yeah, those three. I think those three. The ratio of unavailability to availability of jobs, skill sets, and just foundational mentality of the entire space, which is Lagos, Nigeria, or Nigeria as a whole. Yeah.
Yeah.
How
I
about you?
agree. I think it's the same if we're being honest, like the barrier of entry is very, very high, especially in that period where you're just an entry level, you just graduated from school, and then the
Mm-hmm.
requirements are 3 years of masters or whatever. I remember there was one point where I was thinking, okay, I have my undergraduate degree, but it doesn't seem like this year is going to do much for me.
Mm-hmm.
Like, how am I even going to have money to like keep
Hmm.
progressing to get more degrees? Yeah, it
I
was weird.
imagine.
So barriers of entry for sure. I think you also mentioned this as well, just the whole like nepotism. I think that's what it's called, where
Mm-hmm.
you're especially for entry level. And I do think, and maybe it's wrong in different countries, but I think in the States it's
Mm-hmm.
easier to get a job when you have a job, and this is within corporate itself. But getting in is the hardest, just from my experience as well. And I think part of the reason why is as an entry level, if we're being honest, the requirements are much lower, expectations are much lower. So chances of you pulling in your cousin that has no idea what to do, or
Mm-hmm.
your sister-in-law, like it's so much easier. And I
Mm-hmm.
I do think that happens a lot. And then overall, I would say economy ties into this.
Yeah, it
Um,
does.
yeah, like
It
heavy.
does.
Hmm.
What
Yeah.
would you say, like when you're looking for a job, what does
Hmm.
that take? Like finding the right job, like what goes into that,
Yeah.
What goes into that process?
So I'll be honest, and I'm just speaking from experience. My
Mm-hmm.
first job that I landed,
Mm-hmm.
I was approaching it from the mindset of I just want to get experience. Okay, experience and money. Let's be real.
Mm-hmm.
I want to get experience. I want to get money. I wasn't really approaching it of like, oh, is this the right job for me? Is this going to be like a good experience? Am I going to love this in years to come? Blah 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 blah.
Mm-hmm.
Um, However, when I was walking that job, looking at like what I had versus what I wanted was so much
Mm-hmm.
easier. So at that time, finding the right job was what would I enjoy on a day-to-day basis? Like
Mm-hmm.
even when things are challenging, what's
Mm-hmm.
going to pay me my worth?
Mm-hmm.
Um, is it in the right like industry environment for me? I think those are the big ones. So day to day, like would I like this?
Mm-hmm.
Money, how much are they
Mm-hmm.
gonna pay me?
Mm-hmm.
And just the environment overall, is it conducive for me? That was kind of how I was approaching it from that mindset. This was my second job. Right now, I'm more so thinking about like still the money, like what's gonna compensate me to my worth.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Now I want something that's more like flexible. Like, okay, I've experienced this work from home life. I really like it. I don't want to work from home um 100%. So if I'm looking for like my next right job, it would be something that has that flexibility. Culture is also very important. And I think another thing that has now been added to my list of what takes to finding the right job is environment. So like location. Because I'm thinking of, moving, but where's the next hub that I would feel like, okay, after work on Friday,
Mm-hmm.
I'm able to do a lot in the environment and it's not just like work that is my life. But how about
Mm-hmm.
you?
Um, I think maybe again, I didn't know. I knew this pretty early, but maybe not as early as I wanted to.
Mhm.
But finding the right job, I think no matter what it is, right? Let it be
Mhm.
in line with your short term plan or long term plan. Let
Mhm.
it be in
Mhm.
line with where you see yourself or the field you see yourself. I think,
Mhm.
but again, my environment did not afford a lot of people that opportunity because you need the money to your point. You
Mhm.
need the experience so that at least you can have something in your resume for
Yeah.
eventually when you do move on to something else.
Yeah.
And
Mhm.
yeah, so to the real question now, I think I would say experience, what I want to learn. It's
Mhm.
important to me. Like I look at that, what environment it is in, and what I can hopefully take away from that environment. That's a
Mhm.
big deal. Um, the pay, yeah, but again, I have been fortunate. My parents, we're not Bill Gates rich, but my parents shielded me from taking jobs, from the mindset of taking jobs because of money. So
Mhm.
it's even funny, my relationship with money. I've never wanted, granted, like that whole big lifestyle is good, but I've never looked at money the way most people look at money, like because they want to go flex in a club or something, or go flex and buy
Yeah,
out,
that's
like,
me too. Yeah, I've never
I've never
seen
looked
it
at
that
money
way.
that, yeah, I've never seen money that way. Money is just, if I want to be comfortable, I should be able to
I
be
was just gonna
comfortable.
say that. I was just gonna say that. Like money in my head is what gives me comfort in the sense of like as long as I'm living within my means
Yeah.
comfortably, that's
Hmm.
good for me. That flex
Yeah.
culture, yeah, you guys can go
Yeah.
and keep that to yourself.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So that's just me. So yeah, maybe money. yeah, I take into consideration the money aspect of it. Um, Culture. So we're pretty much on the same page. Culture too. I think there are just some places that I don't want to. I don't want to work there. You know, when you hear, because you do your research. So exactly, this point is good. If you're applying for a job, try your possible best to do the research. Go online, type the name of the company in there. There'll probably be one or two people that have talked about that company online.
Mhm.
Try and see the environment you're getting yourself into. It's important because you might get into a place where you're
Yeah.
working. Let's assume the pay is even good and all that, but you're just not happy with the way things are done. Let's even say the general values of the company don't sit right with you.
Mhm.
Why subject yourself to that a year or 6 months of that kind of feeling? So it's
Yeah.
important. I think, yeah, maybe culture, research, money, experience. Yeah,
Yeah. That's
those are
actually
the
a good point because doing research on the company, I think that was something I learned after my first interview when I couldn't answer certain questions. So, what would you say are some certain application tips? Like applying for a job, what should you be doing?
first point again, like we just said. So I'm happy it even flows directly. It's research. Do your
Uh-huh.
research. It's
Yeah.
very important. The second would be uh try and look for a way to make your application stand out. So if it's an interview, make sure it's memorable. If it's an online application, make sure your document stands out and cool. Another angle would be, I don't know, asking an important question that nobody would ask on a normal day. My whole point is just make yourself memorable in a good
Mhm.
way, not in a bad way. So yeah, making your application stand out, however you want to do that. My third thing would be um try to get enough soft skills that can help you that you can add in your application that would help you in the job. So soft skills would be like maybe negotiation, things like that. Just
Mhm.
read far and wide into soft skills, what they mean and how many you can train yourself in. Because sometimes those intangibles are what in the long run stands you out in the job. So you might you might get a question one day in the office, who can do so and so, who can negotiate a contract, whatever, because maybe the person that usually does it isn't available. If you step up in that instance, you gain the respect of your colleagues and respect of your supervisor. So stuff like that. I think, yeah, basically,
So mine,
yeah.
I think, would be don't put in your resume what you can't defend. I do
Hmm.
understand like a few exaggerations, white lies, as we like to
Hmm.
call it, but if you ask cannot code Java, don't put Java coding in there. Don't do it. The second one for your resume is try not to have it too wordy because
Hmm.
people will not read an essay. Like, yeah, you have it looks long, it looks like you've done something, but if it's literally a textbook, they're not gonna read through it.
Hmm.
And like you said, be personable. I think that's so important. Prep, practice before an
Please
interview.
do.
It makes a huge difference. Like practicing, you may think, oh, I know my resume front and back, but it's different when you're practicing for prompts and questions
Hmm.
that you're going to
Hmm.
have than when you don't.
Hmm.
Um, and then I would say try to find a balance of not ranting too much and
Yep.
not just like having one worders. Like have that middle ground where you're defending your answers with like reasonable stories, examples, but you're not
Hmm.
telling them about all the stories that has happened in your entire office and the work gist and everything. So just
Hmm.
find that good balance. Yeah.
And also, can I just add one more? So, for
Mhm.
those in the technical field, like you're an engineer or you're a developer or something, try and use data based or data influenced
Yeah.
points, right? So, don't just be like, you can do something. Be like, um, I was able to convert 50% of the whatever to generate whatever, you know what I mean? Like, I
Mhm.
was able to raise the efficiency, code efficiency or something from 40 to 90%. I was able to generate, they like numbers, right? So
Mhm.
use data based uh, facts or scenarios to back up your points, yeah, in your application. That helps.
Yeah, for
Technical
sure.
people like saying numbers, so that helps.
Yeah, I agree.
Do you have any interview tips?
I think the ones we just mentioned,
Like physical interviews, yeah. Yeah.
yeah, a lot of them are applicable. The
Yeah, a lot
la
of
the
them,
one,
yeah.
yeah, the one I didn't say that comes to mind is be mindful about how you speak about yourself, the teams you've worked with, and your previous employers, because
Mm,
it might seem like, oh, you want to work at this company, so you're just going to try and undermine the current company that you're working at so they bring you over, but that looks
hmm.
bad on you. And if you're one person that it's very obvious that you're just all about you don't talk about your team experience, how you
Hmm.
collaborate, things like
Hmm.
that, that might rub off on certain interviewers the wrong way. So just be mindful about how you speak about yourself, your previous
Yeah.
employers, coworkers, and things like that.
Yeah, I think everything we said prior definitely works for interviews too as well. I think
Yeah.
the only thing I want to add is dress appropriately. And yeah, don't listen to all those people that say, yeah, it's what is in your mind, bullshit, or what is coming out from your mouth. Dress
First
appropriately, look good,
impression matters a lot. It does.
look good. You're going for an interview. You have a beard on, yes, but you want to trim that thing to perfection. You want to make it super neat. You want to, if you have on an afro, make it the sexiest looking afro there is. You understand what I'm saying? Like, don't
Yeah.
be don't be stuck in your ways, maybe because of fashion or whatnot, going into an interview. If you get what I mean.
Yeah.
Well, this might sound controversial, but if you have tattoos, and just because you're uncertain, again, maybe after doing your research, you should know what you're going to meet. But if you're uncertain of who is sitting on the other side of the table, if I have tattoos on my arms and stuff, maybe wearing a long sleeve is not entirely a bad idea. I don't know. Yes, you
I
want to present how you are to
yeah.
them, but just because of the uncertainty or certainty of the other person, like, you don't want to be, you would be lying to yourself if you think those biases do not exist in the
They
workplace, no
do.
matter how. So,
They do. Yeah.
in
Yeah.
protecting yourself from missing out from an opportunity, I would say if they're coverable in terms of like sleeve and stuff, just do that. I'm sure if they see them while you're working, they won't fire you because you have a tattoo. Do you get what I'm saying? But it would pain you to know that you didn't get the job because the person saw so many tattoos on your arms. I felt, I don't know, are you a wild card, that kind of person,
Yeah.
stuff like that.
I
So,
was gonna say it depends. And I know it's different in Nigeria because tattoos are looked at a certain way compared to here. It depends on the industry you're in. That's one. The second thing is it depends on what your tattoo is saying. If your tattoo is saying fuck nigger hoe or some stuff like that, cover
hmm.
that shit up. Like cover it up.
Yeah, yeah.
But yeah, it really depends. And I think the reason why I think it depends is because it's not just tattoos. I think if you're talking about like physical appearance, you might start to venture into a okay, how much is too far? So for example, as a person of color, a black girl, Are you saying I can't have my afro out? Like, and I think those are the realms where, to your point, as long as you look kept and doesn't just look like you're rolling out of bed, you're
Mhm.
good.
Mhm.
But there are some biases there, and some of those biases, there's nothing you can do about it. Maybe that just shows that you're not supposed to work there, because if as a black girl in a company,
Mhm.
me walking in with braids or with my afro is going to be like I'm unprofessional. Guess what? I don't want to be there because I don't feel safe. So it
Mhm.
really depends. I would say, and just in the day and age that we're in, I would
Mhm.
say go in for an interview, especially in the States. And in Nigeria, you don't really have those like biases. I mean, you do have some, but not the ones that we have here, like the race one and stuff.
Mhm.
But if you're going in for an interview, go in as professional as possible. Like, go in looking professional.
Mhm.
Professionalism does not mean do not be yourself as a black
Right.
girl, right?
Very, very correct.
Don't
Yeah.
change your individuality, don't change your culture, don't change yourself. Like, I'm not going to go and flat iron my hair if I didn't want to, because I felt like that was the way for me to be accepted. And I don't think anyone should do that. And I
In
think,
fact, thinking more about it now, I don't know whether I should take back what I said about the
no,
tattoos
the
because
thing is, I get where you are
sometimes,
coming from.
yeah, because
Yeah.
I know what I'm trying to say, but I don't
Yeah.
know if people might get it. My thing is to protect your, yeah, I've said it as best as I could.
No,
If you
it
get
makes
it, you
sense
get it.
because you're
Yeah,
right.
you
They
know.
are biases, and that is something that you as an individual, you're not going to change. You're not going to walk in and be like, I have a tattoo, but just so you know, like, you're not going to do all of that. No,
Do you
if that
understand what I'm
person
saying?
already thinks like tattoos are from the devil, right? So,
Right.
yeah. But I will say that I think if you walk into a meeting and the person that's interviewing you sees a tattoo and automatically thinks the worst of you, maybe you're not supposed to work there. Because guess what? When you do show up with a short sleeve and your tattoo is showing, are they going to
Hmm.
treat you worse?
I
Right?
agree. I
Yeah.
agree.
So it does depend, because it really varies on, in the industry. Like I said, I do think if your tattoo is saying some wild ass shit, cover that thing up. Cover it up every single day of your work, because that's not professional. If you
I
have,
agree.
yeah, yeah. So it depends.
How do you know your worth as as an applicant or what you should be paid? You know, people say negotiating salaries for people that have
Mm,
the privilege of that, or and I know you have like a lot of experience in this area and I'd
yeah,
like you to share. How do you know your worth, the first
yeah,
level, and what you should be paid? Like
yeah.
how do you get into that? Yeah.
Yeah, okay. So knowing my worth, I didn't know that in the beginning. And I think I still kind of battle with it, because the more experience you have, the more milestones you hit in your career, the
Mm-hmm.
more your worth grows. And if I were to switch industries right now, I'm not going to be worth the exact same thing I'm worth in my industry. So it varies.
Hmm.
I'm just going to put that out there. Also, I'm going to say, guys, I'm a Libra. Life is not black or white. Just gonna put that out there. But how did I know my worth? Entering into my entry level internship, I didn't know. I heard a dollar amount and I was like, shit, it's higher than minimum wage. And minimum wage in California is between, I think, $12 to $15 an hour. So guys,
Hmm.
do the math. It was higher than that. And in my head, I was like, yeah. So entering in I didn't know my worth. I just heard a dollar amount that sounded attractive to me, and I went for about it.
Hmm.
However, when I was working, me and one of my coworkers, and he was an intern too, we started having a conversation about salary. And I found out that he was getting paid slightly less than I
Hmm.
was. And that's when, and I actually got in trouble for telling him that. But I would say this, guys, do not hide, especially from your friends and your close knit. If somebody's just trying to find out how much you weigh, just how much you, did I say weigh, how much you
Hmm.
get paid just to be spiteful, don't
Hmm.
tolerate that. But if a friend genuinely wants to know how much you get earned because they're trying to figure out their worth, please let
Hmm.
them know, because that's how you're going to be able to be paid your worth, especially in the private field in the US. So back to my story. When he found out I was getting paid more than him, he found like a
Hmm.
whole HR thing. It was a pretty big deal. And
Hmm.
but in my opinion, I feel
Hmm.
like I would have done the same, right? Because we were doing the same quote unquote job description. I think I was doing slightly more, if we're being honest. You know what you were doing previously. So, um, but um, we were doing the same job description. We had the same title. So why was I getting paid slightly more
Mhm.
than him? I came to find out because I had a conversation with my boss at the time, and I loved him so much, but he was like, Lola, the reason why you got paid more is because you had this prior experience that he doesn't have.
Mm.
Because at the time I was a senior in college and he was a sophomore in college. And
Mm.
apparently those additional classes that I had taken had given me, and I think that's why I was able to do more in the lab, because I had gotten through certain experiments in my like school that we
Mhm.
were doing in the lab that he
Mhm.
hadn't gotten to. So things like that.
Mhm.
So back to your question, how do you know your worth? Do your research. Like, do your freaking research. Find out for this job, based on the criteria that they're asking for, based on the requirements, how much do I bring to the table based on all of that, right? If they're asking
Mm.
for five things and you bring all five, you bet you they need to be paying you at the upper limit of the salary range. If they're asking for five things and you have two, maybe you're not at the upper limits. Maybe you're like entry level. And how you know that upper lower limits, like the range, is in the US we have a bunch of tools, like online tools that just show you an average of how much you're worth. And you do have to compare, because some things might be way far fetched, like way far out, and some things might be lowballing you. You have to like actually do your research on, okay, as a software engineer in San Francisco, how much am I getting paid? How much is
Yeah.
Google paying? How much is Microsoft paying? How much is Zoom paying? And then do the average, so that way you know where to fit yourself. So do your research, ask around, and back to my initial like statement before, if you're someone that has the luxury of having a job that is paying you and somebody else wants to know that information, if it's somebody that you care about, somebody that is in your safe comfortable circle, do not hold that information back, because that's the information that person needs to be able to advocate for themselves in whatever
Mm.
interview they're going. So ask around. And I think one thing I will say is, I have a rule for myself. Whenever I go through like an interview process and I get to the point of compensation, I never say yes to the first offer. Never. And
Mm.
I don't think, I'm not out here telling everybody like, okay, reject every offer. No. I do think you not saying yes to the offer. And when I say I never say yes to the first offer, is they say, oh, hey, we like you, we think you're amazing, we would like to offer you, just putting a salary amount out there, we would like to offer you 80 grand for this. I'm not just like, oh my gosh, yes, thank you so much, da, 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 da,
Mhm.
right?
Mhm.
It would be more so about, wow, I really appreciate the offer. Can I get some time to think on it? Right? That time you're getting to think on it, go and do backup research, right? Really, really drill down on that research. Ask the people that you know that work at the company. They're offering me 80K. Is that aligning with what they're offering you? Or go and do your research in the companies around. This company's offering 80K. If a competitor company is trying to hire me, are they going to offer me 80K or not? If you find out, okay, yes, it's a fair salary, then go back to them and say, I really appreciate this offer. I'm very excited to join your team. I would like to take it. If you think, okay, no, they're lowballing you, come back with the justification and with the defense that you need to be able to ask for more. And I say that because I think that's where people get into a slippery slope. And I have seen people just like push themselves to the wall where they're just asking for more without any like justifiable reason.
Hmm.
Right? So
Mhm.
every time I've gone back to ask an employer for more, it's been based on my facts, right? Of like, okay, based on doing research in this industry, somebody with 4 years of experience is earning 90K.
Hmm.
I believe I have just as much value as those people, and I want to be compensated for my value, which is why I think I should be offered 90K.
Hmm.
You don't have to word it that way, but something along the lines of that. Or you can say something like, I understand that you pay people within the company with the same position 90K,
Mhm.
and I would like to be
Mhm.
compensated equally to how people within the company are being compensated. You know, come back with your facts. And if it's multiple things, come back with those multiple things, and don't be scared to ask for more. I think as a woman, one, as a Black woman, two, it's something that we shy away from because we feel like the first offer was already good. Like
Good.
they they already spared me enough to give me something. Let me just take it and shut up. And it's like, no,
Mm.
you're worth so much, boo. Like you are worth so much and you need to advocate for that. And I sound so passionate because I mean, I've been in the industry for almost 4 years now, but within those 4 years, I've actually grown to understand like the value of standing up for yourself. And I promise you, if you do it the right way, those people would respect the shit out of you. Like,
Right.
because they see you as this girl, she knows her worth. And
Hmm.
also, I'm gonna add this here. Ask for your worth and prove that shit like in a way that their jaws would drop. Like
Mm-hmm.
they
Mm-hmm.
literally feel like, okay, yeah, this girl, we can't she's a superstar, that type of thing.
Yeah, I can afford to lose her. Don't go negotiate a very good or competitive salary and then underperform. I mean,
Exactly.
behind closed
Because
doors, they will be talking and they'll be like, yo, you made us do all this and you're not even,
exactly.
yeah.
Exactly. And I will say this, my last point on this. I think negotiation doesn't stop when you get an offer. You can also negotiate as your work um responsibilities pile on. I think that's also a good time to it's not
Hmm, good
it's
point.
less of negotiating like I want this. It's more so of, hey, I'm doing such a good job. My reviews have said this and this and this. Since I started working, this and this and this have been added to my plate. I think I deserve to be compensated to match my new work responsibilities, right? Something like that. Like don't be afraid to ask for what you are doing because it's your worth at the end of the
Mm-hmm.
day, right? You're putting
Mm-hmm.
in work, yeah, because you know you like the job, you da 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 da, da, but let's be real, it's for the money. So
Yep.
ask for it. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, very, 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 very valid points you mentioned. I love all of them. In fact, nothing to add. I think I agree completely with everything you said. And yeah, I think what I really want to know now is why do employers just find it hard to pay what you're worth? What could be their own reason for not wanting
um
to pay me what I'm worth?
I
What can we say is their line of thought?
think they're
Simply
just trying
put,
to
for
save
me, on the
money.
surface of yes, I was just about to say that that's saving money and greed. Those
Greed.
are my own,
Yeah.
yeah, greed. Because how else can we defend the idea? I think
Yeah.
I might even feel comfortable enough saying we know what you're worth,
Mm-hmm.
but we can't afford that. Can you compromise, and what is your bottom line? Let's be clear from the beginning that okay, if you do compromise, it was a discussion that was had, but they will know at the back of their mind that they are gaining. Do you understand what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
There's beauty in them knowing that yo, I had to compromise to be here. So in their mind, they are looking at you like the holy grail. That
Yeah.
yo, she was able to, come down to our level. So the respect is even different. The way they would talk to you, the
Yeah,
way they
I
would
agree.
address you.
Yeah.
So when in future, because of your impact, maybe you've been able to raise the company's revenue to a certain degree because of your influence and your work, when it's now time for renegotiation, if we slam the figure at them,
Mm-hmm.
there's no need for too much talk. Do you understand what I'm saying? It's like,
Yeah.
give me my coins ASAP or I'm moving. And guess what? If you're moving, you're going to make more because you're moving to an entirely new space
Mm-hmm.
where probably the ripple effect and the news of what you've done with that company has already spread around that industry or that
Yeah.
space. And so
Yeah.
the regard those other companies are looking at you with is like so high. So yeah, I think
Yeah.
it's just greed and maybe companies trying to save money. Yeah.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. And something you said just reminded me of something that I know happens in people's careers is
Hmm.
there are times where you do have to take, not have to, but you're more willing to take a pay cut for the long-term benefits, right? So think about like a startup situation where you have so much um passion about the product, you have so much belief and trust in the potential of this company, and let's say you're one of the founding members, you might not be getting the same paycheck as you might be getting in like a big company, but that's
Yep.
something that you're willing to take for the greater good. And
Yep.
I don't think, if anything, I think that's a very, very wise, in a lot of instances, like career move, because you're thinking
Hmm.
long-term growth and stuff. So yeah, I do agree. I would prefer if a company just flat out says like, "Hey, we know we can afford you right now, but are you willing?" Instead of making it seem like, ah, you're asking for a
I
lot.
agree. I
Yeah.
agree. So finally, before we go, can you
Mm-hmm.
describe your dream job?
Ooh, I think my ultimate dream job would be my own company, right? Like having
Ooh.
a company that is adding a lot of value to the world. I literally treat my employees like as amazing as I can. I'm providing back to my community, and not just the
Hmm.
States, but actually Nigeria, not just Nigeria, but Africa as a whole.
Hmm.
Um, just being able to like bring in profits, but also be very philanthropic with that. And that
Hmm.
is my dream job, like bringing a lot of value to the world
Hmm.
in so many different ways and be able to do that on a daily basis. Like that's my dream
Hmm.
job. However, corporate America or corporate like 9 to 5 working for someone, my dream job
Hmm.
is still adding value to the world, but in my own little way. So which is why I really like the healthcare field that I'm in, is because the
Hmm.
projects that I work on, like we're genuinely bringing in like innovative products that are going to help healthcare
Hmm.
long term. The other thing, dream job for me, is flexibility. I think COVID has changed my mindset, even the whole world around. I don't have to go to the office every single day. I don't need to see my coworkers every single day. I can travel and still be
Hmm.
working. So I really need that flexibility. If I'm
Hmm.
being honest, for my own personal thing, I think I can manage like paychecks and stuff, sorry, pay cuts and stuff, and even like a
Hmm.
startup that I'm very passionate about. However, 9 to 5 corporate America, run me my check. Like, give me what I deserve to be paid, because I do know how at the end of the day, like we are just a cogs, like a
Your
number
pawns in their big
in
game,
the
yeah.
exactly. So I want to be like, run me what I deserve.
Milk whatever you can while you can. They can wake
Yeah,
up one morning and be like, "Yep, thank you for your service. This department seems,
exactly.
you
We
know,
don't need it
so
anymore.
we don't need
Exactly.
it anymore." Yeah, yeah,
So
yeah.
yeah, that's mine. How about you?
Um, my dream job, simply put, because I don't want to talk too much about it because I have a lot of dreams, but my dream job would be creating a huge and intense amount of value for my community and hopefully the world, at the
Mhm.
same time being happy
Mm,
in a simple and general in a simple and general way. That's my dream job, being happy while I create value for my community and the globe, and also making a shit ton of money for it. But like,
yeah. Okay, let me spin that a little bit, because I feel like that was too vague, and my answer was also quite vague. What industry would be your dream to do all of that you just said?
woo, cha.
Ucha!
Three, can I say three? Can I
Okay,
say
say
three?
three. Say
Because
three.
tech, entertainment, and sports.
Ooh, that is you, like
Tech,
on the
entertainment,
freaking
and
nail.
sports. Yeah. Tech, entertainment, and sports. Yo, if I can do that,
Yeah.
Lord, uh,
Yeah.
I'll
I
die a
could
happy
definitely
man.
see
Like,
that.
I'll die a happy man. You
I could
know,
definitely see that.
yeah. How
Yeah.
about you? What industry? What space
I
do you
think mine
think?
is one very broad one. It's health and wellness, like just
Hmm.
overall. So
Hmm.
physical health,
Hmm.
um,
I
either
like
like
that.
yeah, health and wellness. I think that's definitely
I
my
like that.
niche.
I like
Yeah.
that. I like that. I like that.
Yeah.
Thank you guys for rocking with us. We have come to the end of
Yes.
another episode of the Adult Puzzle Podcast. We hope you enjoyed it. Please, 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 please share with your friends, your family, your coworkers. Like, subscribe on whatever digital streaming platform you're listening to this on, and rate us. Give us reviews, and yeah, share, like, subscribe, do all that. And we'll be here with you again, same time next week. Bye,
Same time
guys.
next week. Bye, guys. Bye, Lamide.
Bye, Lola.
Bye.